That is how you would use a rinseless wash to wash your car. Okay, there are a lot of really great reasons to use a rinseless wash method. Probably the number one reason is you don't want to go through a tunnel wash. We all know that tunnel washes are tragic for your car's paint. I won't even get deep into that or at all. That's probably a whole nother video on its own. However, one of the main reasons to use a rinseless wash is time. Sometimes it's just easier instead of dragging out your pressure washer and all the things that go with it. And not even that, you've got to put all that stuff away when you're done. So time is a huge, huge factor. Now, right now in New Jersey, there is a drought warning. So you have to be prudent and make a decision if washing your car at all is the right thing to do. And if you do it, rinseless washing is a great way to make sure you use the least amount of water possible. And now that we're deep into the fourth quarter, rolling into the holidays, it's cold out and you still want to keep your car clean. However, doing all that stuff by pulling out all your equipment just doesn't make sense because it's too cold out. Of course, even with rinseless wash, ideally do it above freezing. However, you can use your bucket of warm water and not just cold water. And because you don't have to rinse, it's not nearly as bad. So those are all the reasons. So let's talk about the products you're going to be using. Now, the products come down to some core items. The rinseless wash, which I have a bottle right here. I happen to like PNS's Absolute Rinseless Wash. It's worked very well for me. It's very slick. It lubricates the medium you're going to be using to wash your vehicle. Now, in terms of the medium, you can use the multi-towel method, which means not just one towel, but probably up to 5 or 6 towels, because you can take the towel and fold it into quadrants. So you'll have 4 clean sides per side. And that's typically used by a 16 by 16 inch microfiber towel. However, I've done that. It works really well. I think it takes more time than I really wanted to by folding the towel, moving the old towel off to the side, pulling up a new towel. I guess it really depends on your method. I prefer using the Rag Company's Ultra Safe Sponge. So let me just open it up to show you what it looks like. And you can use this packaging to store your sponge. It does have a slit in the packaging to let it breathe. All right, so on the Ultra Safe Sponge, number one, it is super soft. So you can get into like the crevices of the vehicle, like by the door handles, into the corners, very simple to use. And you'll see here, there are lots of places for all the debris to get caught up on both sides, right? It has a small point even right there. You can see there's some cut marks. So what these cut marks are going to do is going to help draw up that debris into the sponge. So when you dunk your sponge back into your bucket of solution, is going to release to the bottom. So let's talk about the bucket. Now, the bucket to bucket, you can use a 3.5 gallon, a 5 gallon. I happen to use a 5 gallon. And at the bottom of the bucket, you're going to want to use a grit guard. Now, the grit guard is going to keep the grit from coming back up into the solution as you're rinsing off your sponge. So, grit guard, sponges, medium, obviously the product and the bucket. And lastly, you're going to make sure you want to have a nice drying towel at the end. Remember, we're doing rinseless. You do not have to rinse off the car when you're done with the car or by panel. You're just going to use a really nice quality microfiber drying cloth. Now, what you also might want to use when they're drying is using some kind of drying aid. Now, there are lots of drying aids out there. You could use a quick detailer. I happen to use PNS's Clean Maker, which as of this recording, I do not think you can buy Clean Maker in large volume. And you mix it yourself using a combination of PNS's Bead Maker and PNS's Dream Maker, right? So Bead Maker and Dream Maker, I made a video about that. So be sure to click on for that and I'll show you exactly how to mix it as a drying aid. Now, as far as the method of doing this rinseless wash, as you see throughout this video, is first you're going to want to do it out of direct sunlight. You can do it in direct sunlight, but you're going to do it slightly different. I'll talk about that towards the end. I happen to do it in my garage. I do have a 2-car garage. However, you can do it in a 1-car garage with slimmer space between the car and the walls. It's very, very doable because you're not dragging around a whole bunch of stuff. You're just moving your bucket around and your washing medium and a couple of towels. So what you're going to do is first you're going to pre-spray the entire vehicle with the rinseless solution. And what that's going to do is going to start to break down some of those contaminants that are on the vehicle so that the solution can encapsulate the debris, right? You're not looking for a total soak. You just want to get the car nice and misted and wet, okay? You're not looking necessarily for it to be dripping off. However, some of it's going to drip off, right? Then what you're going to do is you're going to work from the top down like you would in any other car washing method. You're going to take your rinseless sponge, you're going to dunk it into the solution, and then you're going to slightly squeeze it out. And when you let go, it's just barely dripping. It's not dry. You're not squeezing to make it dry. You're squeezing it to get most of the water out. And there's a little bit of moisture, and there's some water still in it. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go back and forth in a straight line like you would any other car washing method. We're not going to do circles, right? We're not going to go angles or X's, just straight lines. And then as you feel the sponge picking up more stuff or debris and maybe starting to catch a little bit, turn over your sponge and you can keep going and then dunk it back in. Now, some people just dunk it in and swish around. I happen to dunk it in and kind of move it around a little bit in the solution to release whatever, as much debris I can release, pull it back out and move on. I'll do this particular method at least every panel. If it's super, super dirty, maybe I'll even do it mid-panel, rinsing out my medium or this sponge. So as you go through, you're going to feel that the Absolute is super slick. And when you go over a panel, you're going to be able to actually see where you've been, which is really, really nice. So you're not going to forget that you've done a particular part of the car versus where you haven't, because where you haven't, it'll still look like beady wet, if that makes sense. I'm not sure. But on the side that you worked on, it kind of looks smeared, and that's how you know you've done it. And I do this on my cars when they are just moderately dirty. I don't do it when there's heavy, heavy dirt or anything crazy. It's kind of like a in-between full-on washing. Or if, and I've done this before, if I know we're going out for the evening or for the afternoon and I just want to freshen up the car because of where I'm going, because that's who I am, I'll pull out the rinseless wash and not bring out the whole arsenal of products to wash a vehicle. So that is how you would use a rinseless wash to wash your car, with the reasons why you do it, the products, and the methods on how to do a rinseless wash. So if you have any questions, oh wait, I forgot one last thing. The reason why you would do, if you need to do this in the sun, is you can do everything I just said, but you can do everything per panel. So dampen or mist, wash, and then dry that panel when you're in direct sunlight. You do not want to let the product solution from your bucket dry on the panel. However, if you do, and it does, just re-wipe down that panel. It'll rejuvenate those any spotting or whatever you happen to see on the hot panel. Again, try not to do this on a hot panel, but if you do, everything per panel, and you really should be just fine. If you have any questions, be sure to comment below. I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Watch the video on how to make Clean Maker. It works super, super well and gives you a really nice finish as you're finishing up. So thanks for watching, and I guess I'll just see you on the next video.